This is Jason Warbucks.
This is Lenny. This is Shani.
This is your boy Steven, and you're now tuned into
The Perspicax.
What's going on? This is Jason Warbucks Williams.
Hey everybody, this is Lenny.
Hola, this is Shani.
Buenos tardes or buenos noches, wherever you are in the world. This is Steven, and this is the Perspicax. What's going on, peeps? A brand new week, a brand new episode. I don't know, I'm excited to be back. I'm excited. What's going on, peeps? What's going on, Lanice? What's going on, Morebucks? What's going on, Shani? Let me hear the energy, man. I got to feed off that energy this week.
Energy? What do you mean? We're always on a good wave. You know what I mean? Everything's always good.
We're forever on one. Like, we've been hyped before we even started recording. So we're good.
Everything plug in, nothing to plug out.
No, plug out for real. But yo, last week we had some good feedback. I don't know if you guys want to, shout out our guests, shout out people on that have been hitting us up. But yeah. Yo, it's been coming
let's just give a special thanks to Ireland who's been tuning in. What? We didn't even know we had people out there. So spread the word, Ireland. Keep going. Tell all the other listeners. And let's just make it bigger out there. So thank you.
Yo, Scotland, I want to see you next. People in Scotland, I want to know you're listening.
Who's next? Go.
Shout out to the States as well. We got some state that I wouldn't have thought. What do we have? Kentucky, Pennsylvania,
Colorado,
Florida as well. So, obviously we're heading in the right direction, and the only direction is forward and up for us. So, gonna continue to bring the heat and continue to bring the Perspicax to your ears, to your eyes. You know what I mean?
But let us not forget, shout out to where we're from, Toronto, because we have tons of listeners there. So thank you so much for supporting us.
Thank you to 6.
We love you guys.
Come on, man. That's home. We had to shout out. The majority right now of our listeners are Canadian, but we got to expand. We were trying to expand, as we said. So, much love to our city. That's been holding us down and paying us. So, like we said, big up to 6.
Okay.
I want to give a special shout out to one of our listeners last week. Had a nice little feedback, a little message to send in for the group. So I'm just going to play it right now.
Hey guys, this is Nadine L here. I just want to say this group brings a coin factor to their discussions. A coin has 2 sides, and they look at their info from that space. What's done in darkness will come to light, which means this. Regarding cancel culture, you're going to be held accountable for your words. It's either going to be by man or by God. And sometimes the choice isn't yours. But accountability, I believe, is key. And I believe that surrounds the cancel culture. And I really love how this group touched on different facets of it. Should you be judged by your past? Maybe, maybe not. Or should you be allowed a little bit of leeway? Anyways, great conversation group. Thanks.
Thanks, Nadine. Shout out to Nadine again. Like I said, if you do have messages, any feedback, any pros, cons about our podcast, we do have the link in the description. It's also www.anchor.com/perspicax/message. But it is in the description if I'm wrong. But we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you. Love it. But man, I don't know about you guys. I've been amped to talk about it this week. I've been seeing a lot of memes. I've been seeing a lot of videos. The big topic that's just booming on the internet right now. I had to Google it myself. Entanglements. And should I spell it out? I had to Google this. You guys don't even understand. When it came out, I was like, is this even a real word? You guys are laughing. I actually had to Google it. So I was like, no. We can't just be making up new words every time something comes on the internet. You know what I mean? So I went on Google, typed this in. I said, all right, boom. Let me see what this is about. Entanglement. So the first, I got 2 definitions. Obviously, Google, they're going to give you all 4 or 5 definitions. So first definition I got for entanglement was the action or the action or fact of entangling or being entangled. And I thought towards the situation of Will, Jada, and August, that wasn't going to play into factor. Am I wrong? Am I right?
It's questionable. Please proceed.
Questionable, right? So I said, like, yo, there has to be another definition, right? There has to be something.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept searching and it said the next definition I came upon was a complicated or compromising relationship or situation.
Yeah.
And they gave an example, romantic entanglements. So I have a question to
That's more like it.
I had a question to start out to you guys because, yo, like I said, I had to Google this. And I gave you guys a definition. I'm sure you guys probably Google this as well because, yo, I don't know if you guys knew about entanglements before this. Prill, correct me if I'm wrong. Stop me. Anybody here?
No, proceed.
No.
Okay. Thank you. So what do you guys feel would lead up to a quote-unquote entanglement?
Getting caught cheating? Probably.
Well, I mean, at that point, you've been in the entanglement. You've been entangled by the time someone's like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah, true.
But I think, Lanice, you have to drop the background as to why we're talking about entanglements, because I think our viewers might be missing what's happened in the world. So drop the background.
Yeah, let's get a little bit of context here. For those of you who do not know what we're talking about or why we're even talking about this topic, you're probably familiar with Will Smith and his wife, Jada Pinkett-Smith. All right. So they've been together for probably about 25 years now, I think they said. And they've been through a lot of ups and downs, to put it lightly. So about 4.5 years ago, Jada started a friendship with this young man named August. He was 23 at the time. Yeah, mad air quotes on friendship, eh? You guys are snakes. He was 23 at the time. She was 44. So they started this friendship. At that point, Will and Jada were also on what you would call, air quotes from myself here.
Yo, age difference. Mm-hmm. I know he probably felt like a pimp still. You know what I mean?
Oh, he must have felt like a man.
Yo, my bad.
Really?
my bad. Because I feel like if I was in that situation, 23, 40. All right, continue.
And not just any 44, Jada Pinkett-Smith 44. Right. That's up there with like Halle Berry 44. You know what I mean?
J-Lo 50.
Lisa Bonet 44. J-Lo 50. Okay, so let me continue on. The plot thickens, as they say. So you got August at 23, Jada at 44, Will at whatever age he was at. And Jada and Will were quote unquote on a break, or they were separated. They were still married. And Will is kind of thinking at this point, like, this is so intense, we could be over. Jada's thinking we were over, like, this was split, like, I was done. So she says after that point, she and August got into a, quote, entanglement. Now, Will is kind of like, say it plain, like, was it a relationship? What do you mean entanglement? And then she admits, yes, she and August got into a relationship at the point when her and Will were so-called separated. All right. So basically, when we're talking about entanglements, we're talking about like these extramarital relationships, or just a situationship that is outside of your committed relationship. If you guys are dating or fiancés or whatever. That's what we mean.
So pretty much a situationship is now evolved into an entanglement. Just so we know moving forward which one to use, because that's what it seems like.
Because we see a lot of single people now talking about entanglements, right? They're like, hey, my applications are open for a summer entanglement. It's not that they're like dating someone and looking to cheat. They want something that's like light.
Funny you said that. I saw something the other day. It's like it was single, married, and then the next box was entanglement. I was like, yo, I was like, yo, what's going on, man? Is that?
That's what I'm saying.
Shenny, you were saying something. Sorry, we cut you off.
Oh, no problem. I was going to go along the lines of that. It's going to become the new cop-out to not actually have to be serious with somebody. It seems like it's just going to be the new thing. Well, you know what? Like, I don't know if you want to be in something serious right now. We can just be in an entanglement. Like, is this going to be a real thing? Like, 2020 has brought us so much. But to drop entanglements, a way to validate why we don't have to be serious, this is going to blow up.
I hate to say it, and this will probably get me killed. So if this is my last episode, I love you all. But a lot of people have been in entanglements before that was even a word.
Bam, bam, bam.
A lot of people have been in it. A lot of people are like, I'm with you, I love you, but Tom, Dick, and Harry are still my 3 batters up.
Yo, you said it correctly. Yo, a lot of people didn't know what they're in until this word came up and said, yo, boom, that's what I've been in. Boom.
It's like a discovery.
Yeah, like
Yeah. It's like when you're experiencing something and then someone tells you the word for it and they're like, "Oh, there's a name for this?" That's what a lot of people were doing with this entanglement.
Your belly was running you and you say that's stomach flu. That's what it's called? Oh my gosh. Wow.
We're not your friend. We're not your friend, Warbucks. We're not your friend.
This conversation.
Oh man. So
okay. You know what I got to touch on though, Lenice? You said it that Will said that he was done because like everybody's trying to figure out their relationship. We're never gonna know the full spectrum of their relationship, but I just brought a small timeline to the table today. So they met in 1994 on the set of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Okay, and you know he wanted to be with her. He caught her eye. He was like, you know what? I really want to be with you. Then in 1997 they got married. So that's like minimal time because he just got divorced in 1994, I believe, as well. Don't quote me. It might be 1995. He got divorced from his current wife. So then, like, all this happens. And then in 2013, there's rumors that he's having an affair. And then that's when you hear that everybody's saying, oh, they're in an open marriage. And then that's when some other tweets were saying that they were. And then there's other tweets counteracting that where Will's like, you know, I'm with my queen still. And then after that, Jada's like, my king has spoken. But then there's still so much floating around with, what's her name? Margot Robbie. So I'm just trying to figure this all out. And then now we have, after 2013, you have 2015. And that's when Jada and actually August met at an event that Willow and Jaden were, I believe, a part of. So that's like the timeline that they had. You said 25 years. They've been together for a while. But then, as you said, there's also ups and downs in that. So I don't know if everybody had a chance to listen to the Red Table Talk because it was booming, where she brought herself to the table with Will. And a lot of people are like making fun of Will and having the memes and saying he's an actor and you could finally see like the hurt in him. And I'm trying to figure out if you did it first, hypothetically, and you also stated that you were done. And then Jada's like, we're officially done. Why is it so bad that she had an entanglement? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Because Will and Jada were supposed to be the poster child for Black love.
Oh.
Everybody said, and all the songs you had, I want that Will and Jada love, that Barack and Michelle love, they were supposed to be the poster child for it. For this happening, everyone's just like, if Will and Jada can't make it, who will?
True.
But Will and Jada have been this like weird enigma for a while though. Like Shani was saying, like the whole thing with the, oh, we're in an open marriage. Oh, the Margot Robbie. Yeah, they're still talking about Jada Pinkett-Smith and Tupac's ghost. Like
he ain't dead.
Or Tupac's hologram, all that stuff, right? Like there's been a lot of stuff surrounding them where they were almost like these like relationship goals for people who were like, my stuff is kind of shady too, so I want to be like Will and Jada, you know, like they're just ride and die through everything. But most people are like, you don't want to go through everything.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone was saying that they basically made it that their relationship was like so perfect. Almost just like how Jay-Z and Beyonce's relationship are supposed to be so perfect. Everyone wanted to kind of envelop on that even if your partner was an entanglement, you felt that some way you can get back to your Will and Jada stage. But now since the Will and Jada stage is now ruined, what stage are you going to get back to?
And that's the thing too, like, well, being so like, I guess, well known or like, yo, that looked up on, like, yo, having things like this will just blow up. Like, you know what I mean? Like you said, it could be people, it's not my role model, but you know what I mean? People could be looking up to Will and saying like, yo, boom, or to Jada and saying like, yo, the way she carries herself, like, I want to be like that person. And then Tutu's, we're in an entanglement. You know what I mean? Like, yo, am I still looking up to this person? Is this the right thing? To be quite honest, if this is a reverse situation, I feel like it would have been a whole different topic.
Huge.
But a bigger topic, 100%. But yeah, I don't think it should have happened. Period. At the end of the day, like knowing what's at stake and knowing what, like at the end of the day, if I feel like I'm marrying somebody, yo, we could take a break, yeah, like, but I'm hoping that you're not gonna go wild out and run to every strip club and you know what I mean, go to every state and wild out. Hopefully, but like I said, when you're on that type of pedestal and like everything's different. So I don't know. Next question. Sorry, my bad, Warbucks. What were you gonna say?
My bad. I was just gonna say some laundry shouldn't be aired. Some laundry should be left in the closet.
Which also leads to my next question. How do you think these guys handled it? Like, how do you think they handled the whole situation? Like, from August to Jada to Will. Like,
hey, you gotta make sure you focus on August too, because it wouldn't have come out unless August didn't say anything. So again, my take on August saying something is August has been through a lot. Like, he came to Jada and Will and the family when he was very ill. He had a autoimmune disease and his liver was shutting down. He was also like, he lost his life. He flatlined twice. Like, he went through a lot. He had drug issues. He had alcohol issues. He had sex addictions. So I mean, he had a vast amount of things that he was dealing with, and I believe that he went to Jada for that kind of nurturing and like the assistance.
Motherly love.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid saying that, but like motherly love. And then that's how the entanglement formed. I'll touch after on, I think, why, but I think the reason that he had to bring that out is simply because it was a part of his healing process. He had to make sure that he's letting everybody know, because a lot of people are saying it was probably a publicity stunt because he dropped an album and everything. But I think more when you go through something that has to kind of break you and take away your or make you so vulnerable, it's something that you do want to share once you've healed through it. And I think that's why the laundry was aired, so to speak, Warbucks, is because he had to heal. And through healing, you can only have that once you're able to speak on something that you've kept, I guess, weighed down your whole life, or not whole life, but like weighed down through the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay. True.
As far as how I think they handled it, I feel like it was really interesting that at first Jada came out and said, like, nope, this didn't happen. That did not happen. And then I don't know how long it was later, maybe a week later, she's like, okay, I'm bringing myself to the
July
red table.
10th.
Thank you, Google.
Shenny came with the calendar.
Quick Google fingers.
Thank you, Google.
Right?
Now tell me where my...
So at first it was... Tell you what?
I was going to tell me where I left my keys, Google.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, so I was saying, at first, it was like big denial. This never happened. And then I think they were hoping it would fade away because August wasn't that big of a name. He was just a guy who did an interview. He's a singer. I think they were hoping by just denying it, it would just go away and fade out of the media cycle. But they underestimated how much pull their names have. Like, once something comes up with Will and Jada, it's sticking around until we get to the bottom of it, you know? So eventually...
Sorry, that's trending ASAP. Anything you see Will Smith is trending.
Yep, 100%. So it got to the point where they're like, all right, I guess we got to talk about this. And I like that Will came on there with her and Will challenged her in the Red Table Talk. He was like, hey, I'm playing your role this time and I'm asking you the hard questions so you don't get away with just, saying whatever.
Keep in mind, though, that stuff can be edited because remember, it's TV. So it wasn't a live talk show. So certain things in certain spots can be edited just like a reality TV show to make you believe some parts are in there. So we only know the truth of the story that they're telling us. We don't know the whole basket of it all. So we only know what they're sharing.
Big facts. Big facts.
That is 100%. So in this scenario, I feel out in this entanglement. What am I saying scenario for?
It's an entanglement.
It's a bag of ropes.
Who do you think got affected the most, like by it coming out or it being aired per se?
Okay. I think that honestly, all three of them were affected in different ways because August now looks like a home wrecker. Okay. Jada looks like we don't even know really what Jada looks like, but she looks like a mess because she had an entanglement with somebody A who's 21 years younger than her. And so I think that doesn't put her in a positive light. And then Will being Will Smith and all that he's brought to the community in acting and Hollywood and also the projects that he does outside of that, all in the entertainer that he is, people are like, they finally get to see the vulnerable side of Will, him not acting and him just feeling what he had to go through. But you can also spin it because if he really did have a situation with Margot Robbie, then you just got what you did to somebody else turned back on you. The only reason it's even more amplified is because of your name. So I think all three of them get hit in different ways. And I think that's what, like, it's hard to say who got hit the most because they all are feeling it.
I agree with that. I agree with that one too. Okay. How about you guys? Warbucks, what do you think?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's not like August is going to go sell 100K in records now just because he did this. He's just going to fall in the 2020 bingo card spot of the month. He's just going to fall into that one spot that's there. Jada ain't going business because Jada's still going to be Jada. There's probably women out there going, go girl, yeah. You tell him. You put him in his place and show what it is. And then Will's just like, yeah, I'm just going to sit here, put on my acting chops, and say, you know what? I feel hurt about it. So people, Hollywood might look and say, you know what? We understand what's going on. Well, you're Will Smith, and we know you can sell this. You put your pursuit of happiness face on this one.
I'm done.
Wow.
Yep.
Warbucks?
I got to be the man to say it. I got to be the one. Put me on trial if you have to. But I'm just saying, it's where it all falls in. They probably at the end of the show, remember, we ride together, we die together. Bad relationships for life. What are you telling people? Go get an entanglement?
Facts.
They're like, we're toxic. You could be toxic
and no
too.
matter what people say, when you're rich like us, people will think it's okay. You've been stuck with your husband. You've been stuck with your husband for 3 months because of quarantine. Go get an entanglement. It's on you, baby girl.
Yo, this man sounds like he's making commercials for it. Don't
like, call now and we'll throw in an extra entanglement for only $19.99.
We'll throw a fake Instagram page in so your wife will never know what you're doing. Order now.
Okay.
That's so bad.
I don't know how you spun that into like so many infomercials just now, but that was fire.
That was fire.
It's my crazy.
Well, do you use one of those, bro?
Basically, I don't feel everyone got affected by it. I don't feel that people were there like, it's going to be another, okay, well, that was the July bingo card. What's going to be August? Killer ants, Trump calling war. Where are we going with this?
Right.
Facts. Wow. That is so true. That is so true. Man.
Nothing surprises me in 2020.
Honestly, nothing should surprise anyone in 2020 right now. Because just the way how things are going, I think the entanglement thing just made the year just make another spin. So that was really what it is. Mm-hmm. We just did another 180. And yeah. How do you guys feel about that? Like I brought it up earlier, like if it was if the roles were reversed, it could be a different situation. So how do you think double standard is playing a factor in this situation?
Steven, I think you should take the lead. You tell us how you feel.
Welcome to the ladies for this one.
Honestly, that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, I would never want my wife to be doing like. I don't think I could come to terms with her saying like, she said, yeah, yo, this is crazy because just thinking about it should never even have came out for one, or it should never even be a thought to even want to say, all right, I'm not my marriage is shaky. We're not on good terms right now, so I'm gonna look for life or youthfulness in a different partner until I'm ready to come back. Because at the end of the day, it might not have effect right now, but I feel like, down the road, right now, since it came out, it's going to have effect. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely going to have effect going down the road. So I feel like, yeah, definitely crazy. How about you guys?
Here's the thing. That's exactly what happened. Because remember, this was almost 5 years ago. Will found out about it in the past. He and Jada said that they argued about it. They fought about it. They went to therapy about it. They had forgiven. They had moved on. But now look, 5 years later, it still comes out into the public. And now they're having to rehash all of this and open up these old wounds and deal with all this stuff that they thought they had already dealt with. So I agree with you, Stephen. Like, it never should have happened in the first place. And it has lasting effects. Like, you can't just run away from it. But I feel like now's a good point, because you're talking about like double standards. Now's a good point to hear from our other viewer who wanted to say something about it.
Entanglement. This seems like the word for 2020. First of all, kudos to Will Smith for standing by his wife after she publicly admits to having an affair with a dude 21 years her junior, and is looking like he's willing to forgive her. It takes a real big man to do that. Personally, if my wife were to engage in an entanglement with another dude, not saying it would be an O.J. Simpson kind of situation, but man, it would be hard not to let it get to that. But all seriousness, as a Christian, as a man of God, the Bible speaks on forgiveness, so I would definitely, have to find a way in my heart to forgive my wife. But that's just it would be extremely difficult. So once again, kudos to Will Smith. Not every man can, just accept that your wife has cheated on you and move on. But forgiveness. It's all about forgiveness.
Thanks, Courtney. That was Courtney. Much respect, Courtney, for weighing in on that. Warbucks, what do you think, man? How do you feel double standards play a factor in this, or if it does or doesn't?
I don't think it does. I don't see where if they're both in the wrong. Plain and simple, they're both in the wrong for what they did. If this was Will, then if this was Will, it would literally be trial by fire. The media would have such a field day with it. They would take his career and literally strip it to shreds. Jada doing it again, it's just because I feel just the woman empowerment. She can do it because of empowerment, but if we flip the tables on it and he came and said something, like, I don't know, man.
Okay, see, I want to add to that, because I think there's something that we're evading for some reason, is the age difference.
Oh, yes.
You guys have to understand that if Will did this, Will would be crucified, because that's 21 years.
Crucified?
See, August was roughly around the same age as Jaden. So
he was the same age then, is basically Jaden's age now.
So, okay, either way you spin it, she could have still had him as a son. So I think people don't really want to touch on that part. But if the roles were reversed, Will would have no career anymore. It would be like an R. Kelly situation, a Bill Cosby situation. Like, Will would be destroyed.
Yes, he would be cancel cultured.
Exactly. Ooh, follow up. Tune in from last week.
See last week's episode.
To add to what you're saying, I hear, as sadly as it is, I hear the praise in the woman empowerment with Jada doing it, because I was doing a little 1-2 research, and Kayla Kibble did a dating app study, and she found that 78% of women date younger guys, and 89% of men date younger girls. So that is a very high ratio. Okay. And this is just through dating apps. But if you look at that, men get crucified the minute a girl that they're interested in is maybe under 6 years, under around 6 to 10 years. They're like, why are you talking to her? She's younger than you. This is wrong. They get labeled so many different things. But then women, Like it was Nick Jonas and Priyanka. That's a 10 years age difference. Nobody says anything. Gabrielle Union, Dwayne Wade, 10 years age difference. Nobody says anything. Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey, 10 years. Nobody said anything. Right? So it's frustrating, I would assume, for a man, and I'm glad we have two here to weigh in on it. But if you guys are deemed in a negative light because of an age difference, why is it not the same effect for a female? Why do women get to slide by it and not have that crucified in this situation?
Because in a man's perspective, if you are able to get with a woman older than you, it's almost like you're saying you're growing into your manhood. So you're like, wow, you're 21 and you're dating a girl that's 36. Oh, you got like a grown woman. You got a big woman. So they feel like you're big and strong and then you can pull someone twice your age. But if a woman basically is doing the opposite role, they're gonna be like, oh, you're cradle robbing, you shouldn't be going for someone younger than you because that's almost like you're their mother, their aunt. Like, I know some people say they only date 2 years up and 2 years down. I know a lot of older mans that are dating. So I know a man that's 50 that's dating a 32-year-old. And I'm just like, yo, dog, I can't even get a 34-year-old. How you doing that? But it's the fact that when a man's doing it, he's looking like he's the nurturer, he's strong. Some women go for older men because they like basically knowing that they're building the strength for them, that they have someone that may be more established. Some women like going for younger men, and I hate the word cougar, by the way. I hate it. The passion.
It is what it is.
I hate it. But a woman might want someone to get like Jada going for August might say, you know what? She wants to relive her young. She relives her youth, her liveliness when she was like, you know, in her prime. I don't see it as wrong, but I don't see something you should put out into the public and put in everyone's face.
Exactly. Facts. And that's the key right there. Like, I feel like if it didn't come out at all, like, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. But then again, it came out, so we had to have this conversation. So
I know. Thanks for coming out because we needed this conversation for our podcast.
Big facts. So, leading up to that, like, what are your, like, I know everybody has, my definition and my thoughts are open relationship are different from everybody else's. Like, what do you guys think? Are there pros and cons to open relationships? Are there, like, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? In my thought, a relationship itself is between two people. So, like, it being open would just void that whole relationship part in my mind. You know what I mean? Like, if it's open, it's an entanglement. Like, you know what I mean? We might as well call that now. Like, you know what I mean? So, what are your guys' thoughts?
Ladies, you go first.
I mean, I know what I prefer for myself and like what my views on relationships are. And I would agree with Steven, like one person committed. I do at the same time, like I know probably a couple people who are, you know, they're young, they're trendy, they're, you know, like emotionally mature, and they and their partners have decided to be in open relationships where they kind of like talk amongst themselves and set their boundaries in terms of like what each of them is comfortable with in the relationship, outside of the relationship, etc. For me, I just feel like the emotions would be much too like messy to wade through. Like besides, like everybody's going to have their own opinion on the morality of it, but I just even feel like the psychology of it would be so much to wade through. But I wouldn't say that like the people that I know who are in them, that I would like judge them because they and their partner decided to do it. I think when it's one person who's like, you know what, I think I feel like I'm just going to go get entangled and I'll be back in 2 months. Like that's completely different, right? Like, don't look for me. Don't call me. I'll see you in 8 weeks. Like that's
That's as real as it gets.
Right. Like that's not an open relationship. That's just, you're just, I don't know what to say. And I feel like in this situation with Will and Jada, like Jada really did not see it as a transgression against Will. Like even in watching them talk about it on the red table, like you could tell that Will was trying to talk about some of the ways that he was affected by it or that the relationship was affected. And she's like, no, I don't see it as a wrong choice at all. Like she sees it as like it's all about her own personal journey and her personal process. She's like, I don't regret it because of all the things I learned about myself. So I don't know. And I want us to double back onto like how we think it started and how it came about. Because, you know, people want some info and we got some scholarly info to bring in too, you know, but that's my information on, or my opinion on open relationships overall.
What I think, because I'll jump in this one, do what you want to do. What we're saying is just what we're thinking. But if you want to be in an open relationship, if you feel that you're comfortable, you can do it, no one should judge you. No one should wrong you. However, what I feel is I don't want it where I have to choose on who I'm taking to McDonald's for ice cream.
Facts.
I don't want to.
The machine's broken, Warbucks. The machine is broken. It doesn't matter who you bring.
I'll spice up her life.
Look at extra
Either way, if I'm taking you for ice cream, I don't want to know if I'm fighting over taking Shanice or Lanice. I want to have.
Yeah, it's not me. It is not
It's an
me.
example.
It could.
Oh, Jesus, it's an example. I said Mary and Jerry. Or
I know, we just had to roast you.
Don't, I'm not a pig. So what I'm saying is I don't want to have to fight over who I'm taking where and doing what with. So like basically if you can juggle an open relationship, because let's be honest, someone's gonna get jealous. Someone's not gonna get enough time from one, and as much as they want to bite their tongue, they're gonna be upset. Like, well, you're always spending time with her. How come you don't really see me? Who are you trying to be with? It's always in relationships, always a competition.
Yeah,
it's a competition trying to land a person to be your mate. It's a competition to keep the person being your mate, and it's a competition to make her not want to look at other mates. Because if you slip up, the boyfriend from work might slide in and become an entanglement.
Bam. The work husband might actually become the husband.
So, yeah, the work husband might become the husband. And then you're turning into Ron Isley.
Wow.
Yeah. Everybody here looking at each other like
you're
like what?
Just touch me, baby. I'm done.
Boy, if you don't stop.
I was off. Yeah, I wasn't planning for that. But it's basically, I don't think open relationships are dangerous it's double standard. In this day and age too, it turns into, can I see your phone? Can you see my what?
Yeah.
And then when you see and you're just like, oh, so who's this? Oh, it's a friend. Jesus Christ. I'm done.
You better be done because you're going off. Shani, hop in, or do you want me to hop on?
I'm gonna let you take the lead because I feel like I know what the direction you're gonna go, and I think it's the same way I want to go.
All right, blessed.
Oh boy.
I wanted to hone in on like one or two things that Jada said about how this relationship happened. So both of them, and I think Shani mentioned earlier, like August came to them at a time when he was like in distress, right? So she said that her friendship started with him because she wanted to help. Like she saw herself as the helper. And in a lot of previous, relationship stuff, she's been the fixer. Right. So she's even in the video, she's like, it was a joy to heal somebody, She kind of thrives off of this codependency, she was saying.
Yeah.
So it seems like Jada for a long time has been drawn to people that need help, and she's drawn to people that need fixing, right? And we see a lot of times with people with, like childhood traumas, and we'll talk a little bit about attachment styles, but instead of trying to they're switching the focus from what they need to fix within themselves into trying to fix things in others. And that's the pattern that Jada has kind of showed, and why this thing with August, probably one of the reasons that this thing with August heated up so much. So when we talk about attachment styles, they start almost from the time that you're in the womb, basically, but your attachment styles form in childhood. And depending on like the people that you depend on for your caregiving, depending on how they respond to you and your childhood environment, your attachment style shows up in how you navigate your adult relationships as well. Right. So depending on like how much, there's a scale of avoidance. So like how much you avoid like intimacy and closeness. And there's a scale of anxiety. So whether you're high anxiety in your relationships or low anxiety. So the different attachment types. The first one is secure. So you can trust people easily. You're attuned to your emotions. You can communicate directly, that sort of thing. And then there's the anxious attachment style, where you're a little bit more sensitive in it. You struggle to communicate a little bit more, and you tend to like act out when you're triggered. So when you feel like there's a threat to the relationship, you're like, I'm just going to act out and like try to make the partner jealous, for example. Then you have like the avoidant, the dismissive attachment styles. And for that, you kind of like downplay the importance of relationships. And you're usually really self-reliant. So that person who's like, I don't need a man, like at the first sign that he's like maybe about to slip up, you just like wall yourself off. You're like, I don't need this. I'm out of here. Good luck. And then the last one is avoidant fearful. You're more dependent in the relationships than the dismissive ones, but you still like strongly fear rejection, and you still have a high anxiety in the relationship. So these attachment styles, like depending on how you were raised and how, when you reached out for help, how your caregiver would respond to you, like that's going to form your attachment style, and it's going to show up later in life and in your relationships.
Yeah.
I like
to that. Add to even that, I think that the reason that Will, Jada, and August got into this entanglement is simply because of the fact that Jada's nurturing ways to help somebody and always fix somebody is what she thrives on to fix herself. So she was broken at the time. And because she was broken at the time, she was like, I found somebody else who's broken, and I can fix them to then fix myself. Because she even made a statement on the Red Talk table where it's like, she wanted to feel good, and he made her feel good. But like when people hear that, like when I first heard about the situation, I thought that potentially August could have been in a vulnerable state, which we know he was, but I didn't even think that Jada was in a vulnerable state as well. And then when I think of that, and I think of the fact that August is reaching out to help, and she's able to help him, and then in turn that is a reward for herself, and that's what made her feel good. And then we also know maybe he had other ways of making her feel good, but I think that comes down to like the intimacy level. I don't think that Jada was in an intimacy level. Like there's 5 different styles of intimacy, right? Emotional, intellectual, physical, experimental, and spiritual, right? And so I think that they more so had an emotional intimacy at first, and then it led into an intellectual one on Jada's half, be able to provide August with the knowledge that he needs to get back on track, and thus he ended up forming that more emotional, and then even what felt like I guess a connection that he's never felt before, because maybe prior to even them being intimate, he was already there with her in his mind and brought himself there. So I think that that also plays a factor in why it was so strong, and why he had to then tell the world that, hey, this is what happened. Like, I was broken, she was broken. We both fixed each other, but this is the stain that it's left on the world, right? I'm broke.
So not leading off to that, so you think this should be normalized?
Entanglements? Oh no.
Yeah.
I think entanglements are cop-outs in relationships for you to just do as you feel in that moment, not what's more long-lasting. It's a physical. Yeah. I think entanglements more so can stem on a physical aspect. There's also like an 80-20 rule. I don't know if you guys know that rule, but you know, we will break it down another time for you to keep our listeners listening. But I think that to normalize entanglements is only to be a part of like the memes and part of, like, as you said, like the shirt logos, single, married, entangled. I think that if you're in a relationship, you should be in a relationship. If you're in an entanglement, then just know what you're in before you get in it.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Sign a back contract.
I feel I totally agree with Shani on this. Like, I think the use of the word now is just going to be code for lack of commitment and lack of accountability. Like, at this point, it's people are using it jokingly, but it's actually going to change how people act. Like, like there's I see posts now. People are like, "You say debt, I say financial entanglement."
Yeah,
You say I have a criminal record, I say I have a legal entanglement. Like, you said I gained weight, I just have a caloric entanglement. I'm entangled with the calories.
Wow.
Right? Like, oh, you said I cheated? Nah, I just got in an entanglement.
Yeah, that was it.
You said I didn't come to work? I got caught in a sleeping entanglement.
You said I'm fired? I say it's a professional entanglement.
And that's on you.
It's a pink slip. It's a pink slip entanglement.
You see, like, it's just gonna be used as an excuse to actually for people to deal with situations. It's frustrating, but I mean that's what 2020's brought us.
And even if like the whole aspect of like the whole act of entanglement, I feel like just the word itself is just gonna get just thrown around and just so much that it gets normalized. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when something happens so much, it's like, yo, it's all right, cool. Like, yo, it's here now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna have to accept this entanglement thing just now. We're gonna have to accept. No, not personally, but collectively.
I think as a collective, we should not normalize entanglements, as you can see the effects that it has on any party a part of it. So I think that it shouldn't be a thing.
So when I say collective, I didn't mean us four, right? I was talking about the world. Because, none of us here are normalizing that at all.
Nope.
No, sirree, Bob.
Have a whole song, entanglement with August. No.
Yo, the episode's done now just because she sang that song.
Yo. Yo, another week, another episode. Oh my God, yo. I don't know if I told you guys this a lot, but I love you guys. Really? Yo, the support, the vibes every week has just been growing. And like, yo, the feedback, like I've been saying, we've been sharing the feedback and going back and forth what to make these episodes better, how to make it, how to grow an audience and stuff. So I appreciate the feedback. Like I said, the link is in the description to just send us positive reinforcement, negative reinforcements, whatever you feel like sharing, just send it in. And now, we're here to listen.
This is Jason Warbucks.
This is Lenny.
This is Shani.
This is your boy Steven, and you're now tuned into
the Perspicax.